All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Grind. I am so excited today. I have a fascinating guest, I would say, in the grind chair today that I am so excited about sharing with you. I'm so excited about all the conversations that we've been having, especially to kick off 2021. We're in a good place, and this is a time to just really just hone in on the individuals that are really out here grinding despite all that we've gone through, and we want to share that those gifts and those individuals with you today on Behind the Grind. The person I have in the grind chair, me and her go way back, as I would say. We go way back. We'll talk
Absolutely.
somewhat about that today, but we're going to focus a little bit on her grind. I've been watching her a little bit and following her a little bit on social media, and there's something that just really sticks out to me. It is her morning grind, her daily grind, the way she goes at it in her running. And for those of you who know me, I've been trying to dibble and dabble with the running, but I'm not quite at the place that she is. And so I wanted to bring somebody on here that has mastered the inconsistencies and has really been doing it and really been demonstrating that. And not only is she running, she's praying, she's doing it all. And we'll talk about that today. But, and also, I guess I should mention this. She's a alumni and alma mater of my college, Grand Valley State University. So shout out to that, a native of Flint. Let me welcome you all to Behind the Grind, Corey Brown. How are you, Corey?
I'm awesome. Hello, Grind family. Hello. Greetings to you from South Florida. I am
Man,
absolutely honored to have the opportunity to be here with you, Sherrod, and the Grind family, Behind the Grind family. And I'm thankful that you would give me this opportunity to just talk life
yeah.
and conversation and being our authentic and genuine selves as we progress through 2021 and beyond.
Awesome, awesome. Like I said, well, let's start there. You talking about South Florida. I mentioned that you're from my hometown, Grand Valley. Those are two cold places, right? Grand Rapids and Flint.
Yes.
How'd you find yourself down there in South Florida?
My husband and I have been married almost 22 years. And
Wow.
when I
Wow,
met
time
my
is flying.
husband, I know 22 years in
Wow,
June, and we've next March will be 23 years together. So
that's
we,
awesome.
in meeting my husband and meeting his family, he has an aunt and uncle here. We have an aunt and uncle
Mm,
here, and we would come and visit them quite often here in South Florida. And each time we
yeah.
would come, just a little piece of us would be left, and we kept seeding it into our lives that one day, if it was God's will, we were going to move to South Florida.
Oh, that's
And it was
awesome.
God's will. He released us from the region of the north and brought us to the region of the south. And five and a half, almost 5.5 years ago, we've been here September of 2015. We
Okay.
moved here to South Florida, and we absolutely love it. It's a different climate.
Oh
It's
man.
not just temperature, but a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's very diverse, huge cultural base. You have very international population,
Yeah.
and we have not only international but national. People come from all over the United States to
Yeah.
live here. Some would say it's a transient place because oftentimes you don't find a native South Floridian.
Right,
When you
right.
do, is sometimes rare. But there are people actually who were born, raised, and live here, and not transplanted here like us. So that's how we ended up here in sunny South Florida.
That's awesome. I had the opportunity a couple of years ago. I was there working for a few months, and definitely down there in South Florida. And you're right, it's a whole different place. I felt like I was almost, I was more in the Miami area, and it felt like
Hmm.
I was in a whole nother country.
Oh
The
yes.
language and all of the different foods and stuff. So it was fascinating. And got a chance to do a little running while I was there. So I enjoyed my time there. But one day,
Yes.
maybe we could make that move. But I guess I should say me and my wife just made a move a few months ago. We moved from Michigan to Georgia, so I'm getting close.
Oh,
I'm getting close.
awesome. Yes. You just a quick
Yes,
8 hour. Are you in Atlanta?
in Atlanta. Yes,
Okay. My father-in-law is in the Atlanta area.
yes.
They were in Hampton, but now they're in another. They just bought a new house in a different part. So it's about an 8 or 9 hour drive
Okay.
or a quick. plane ride. So
Okay.
not far at all. You're closer.
Yes. Well, let's get into that. Let's get into some conversation today. Like I said, I'm fascinated about the run, and we want to talk about the run. But before we get into your running and your exercise and all of that, I want to talk about your entrepreneurship, the things that you're doing. I know at one point you had a group, I believe. I don't know if it was a group or business, wifepreneur. I believe. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Let's
Uh-huh.
talk. Let's talk about all of these things that God has released as far as entrepreneurship. This is behind the grind. So we want to know, how did you get to this place of doing these different endeavors?
Some years ago, God really laid on my heart the spirit of an entrepreneur, and my I come from a family, if you would, of entrepreneurs, not serial entrepreneurs, but some. My
Hmm.
father, he's transitioned to heaven now, but he was a CPA, but he was also a bishop. So he
Yeah,
had that entrepreneurial spirit in him. My mom. So I just come from a grind, if you would, type of
yeah,
family,
yeah.
even working in their professions or working in their vocations. So as God paired me and my husband together,
Hmm.
and we began to just explore what are things that we enjoy doing, what are things that we know not just so much enjoy to do, but our purpose to do, what are things that we
Right.
are called to be able to give back. Ministry has We've been in ministry, oh my goodness, for decades, like
Yeah.
combined. Myself, I've been in ministry since I was 12.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say my age, but I would just, well, yeah, I will say my age because next month I'll be 45 years old.
Man.
And I cannot believe that I'm like, wow, I am 45 years old. And my husband's been in ministry since he was 18 and he's 52.
Wow.
And so I know neither one of us look it. We just look like we're 20 in our 20s, but that's by the grace of
It
God.
is.
But but we ministry, we
Yeah.
started and we've been in ministry for quite some time, and so a part of that, when you're in ministry, you begin to uncover what else are you called to do and impact the world. And
Right.
entrepreneurship was one of the things that we're called to. And you mentioned Wifepreneur Inc. That was birthed out of a ministry place. It initially came from the Real Praying Wives was my
Okay.
platform, and I really had a burden just to bring wives together. And it started with Super Bowl weekend. So Super Bowl weekend always has a special place in my heart.
Mm.
It's around my birthday, but it's also just has that's where the Real Praying Wives endeavor started, which then morphed into and matriculated into other places in us to birth.
Right.
And that transitions to Wifepreneur Inc., the business of being a wife. I believed I'm called. I have the oil.
Yeah.
I have a target audience for wives. I have a burden for wives and for the awesome assignment
Hmm.
that it is to be a wife, and not just a wife, but the wife to the
Right.
one that God has you married to. Because I may not be the same wife if I was married to somebody else, and so everyone has their grace
Yes.
for who they're married to, and so I just feel, and in a world where I was seeing the options or the alternatives to marriage. I'm like, no, that God, marriage is a God's idea. Marriage
Yeah.
is a gift. Marriage is a blessing. There's a
Yeah.
grace on the covenant that does not come with
Yes.
boyfriend, girlfriend, does not come with the other things. There's a grace that happens. So I just believe in empowering wives. So that's how Wifepreneur Inc. came, the business of being a wife. So
Yeah.
I often say our husbands are the CEOs and we're the COOs. So we
Okay.
operate in delegated authority.
Okay.
And the more you understand that and the more you absorb that part of who you are, then the better the household can flow and the things that God has caused you to do to flow. So out of that,
Awesome.
we birth other businesses as well. And that's where our health and wellness journey is started. My husband is
Yeah.
one of the things he's trained in is a sports massage therapist. And we opened up a clinic in Grand Rapids. And that was like our real first like brick and mortar
Right.
entrepreneurial business insurance, business plan, all of that piece
The
of the
for real
business,
business.
for real business, like legit,
Right.
registered with the state, paying taxes, all of that. And we end up transitioning out of that. And
Okay.
then when we moved to Florida, we was like, okay, God, what more? What do you want of us? And
Mhm.
we knew health. I can't tell you that I knew that I was called to health and wellness
Okay.
years ago. I did
Okay.
not know that. I was often very intimidated
Okay.
by people in that arena,
Right.
because I thought there was a certain look, there was a
Right.
certain way that you had to do it. But really,
Right.
you just needed a willing. Says those who are willing and obedient shall eat the good of the land. I
Yeah.
became willing and obedient to myself and to what I was true to me, and the rest goes from there. So that's where we've now rebranded our business to Rebound Health and Wellness.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. You mentioned your husband, and I remember him back in Grand Rapids. I believe, we went to the same college church there, and I believe he was always athletic, right? And so,
Yes.
is that how you married your workouts and your running? How did you get really into fitness and health, and seeing you together as a couple? How does this all unfold?
Darius, yes, he's been athletic. I was an athlete in high school,
Okay.
and then I got away from that a little bit,
Oh,
and I
wait a minute.
began
What
to.
did you play? What did you play?
I was track. I was a
Okay,
hurdler and
okay,
a sprinter
all
and
right.
a varsity cheerleader. Woo!
Well, I can tell that.
For sure. I have
Really?
pictures. I have pictures. um, but so those were my athletic endeavors in college. I mean, excuse me, in high school. In college, I
Yeah,
didn't do much. I did still stay active with aerobics and but not so much running. That was
okay.
not, especially distance
Yeah,
running.
yeah, distance
Not
running.
my
I
thing.
mean, that's not just the most popular thing that you hear about in our
No,
community. You don't just see, like, you
no.
might see that over in Africa or something like that, but we're not just not jumping out and running. So you gotta kind of tell us a little bit how did you get into running?
When
Long
I when
distance.
when I met with Darius, so to Darius, he's like I say, he's always been athletic. He's a black belt in Taekwondo, and he was
Okay.
more into cycling.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I was like, okay, great. Yeah, here's your bikes. Great. Then one day, my friend, it always starts with a friend, right? It starts with the support system.
Right.
And we said, we want to do, at that time, it was oh my goodness, East Grand Rapids.
One of those 5K
Oh,
things or
yeah, it was a 5K. The name just eluded me because I just found my first bib
okay.
the other day. And so we just committed to doing a 5K. And so we
Okay.
trained for this 5K and we said,
Yeah.
we're going to do this. And
Okay.
when I finished that, I said, who does this? Like, why would you run 3.21 miles? Why would you
Exactly.
walk 3.1 miles? Why would
We're
you do
talking
any
about
of this?
3.1 miles, right?
3.1. A 5K is a 3.1. Why would you do that? And why? Just why would you do this?
Right.
Um, but from there, I didn't know a seed was being planted in me for that type of endurance running, but just that type of community. The
Yeah.
running community is special. It's a
Yeah.
special community.
Yeah.
When I'm out on the pavement, Sherrod, there's no other place that has the greatest diversity
Mhm.
and the greatest acceptance.
Mhm.
No matter how fast, how slow, your size, your
Right.
ethnicity.
Big,
And
small.
I think
Right.
exactly, there's a community, so I think I fell in love with community more
Yeah.
first than I did with
Yeah.
running,
Right.
and then the running came later.
Yeah.
So I trained for that. Then I would ask Darius to come out to be my bodyguard because I need someone out on the
Smart.
high streets
Smart. Uh-huh.
with me when my running partner or my running group was not together,
Right.
or I wasn't meeting with them. And so he
Right.
would go out. And from there, he caught the running bug bad,
Okay, so
bad.
wait a minute. You inspired him to run.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
He was
Wow. I had
not
that
a
all
runner.
mixed up. Okay.
No, he was not a runner at all. Not at all.
Wow.
Even though he
Awesome.
was athletic and into weight training and
Yes.
cycling, the wheelhouse of running was not his.
Wow. Okay.
So with him
Awesome.
going out with me, he began to run more and he absolutely loves it now, just like me, as you can
Right.
see from our
Right.
different social media presence. And then from there, we started doing 5Ks together and we would challenge ourselves
Nice.
to do some things together. Now, when I say together, and I often say this on social media, we're not running together. My pace is not his pace,
Okay.
right? Darius
Okay.
is a much faster runner than me,
Okay.
but that does not mean we're not doing it together.
Right.
Meaning we have the same goal, the same desire, and we're on the pavement together. And at the
Together.
end, he'll be waiting for me at
Okay.
the end of whatever that journey is. Because
Yeah.
again, I don't try to make him stay with me, or and he tries to make me stay with him. I'm like, go ahead,
Have your way.
go have your way. Use him, God. Use him for how you want to use him. But that's not me. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
That's how it started. And then from there, when we moved to Florida, now in Michigan, we would run in the winter. We had the track on our shoes. We would bundle up.
Wait. Time out. Time out. Time out. You wait. I went past that a little bit. You ran in the winter in Michigan. You were one of those.
Yes, yes, I have
Okay.
pictures
Wow.
of
Okay.
being bundled up. And again, it's
In the snow.
community makes you
Okay.
do that. Like there was a group I was
In Grand
connected
Rapids.
to, Stars National, there, and then I was also connected to Gazelle Sports running team.
Okay.
And
Okay.
community will make you do things that
Was
you didn't
key.
think you could do. So I'm like, oh,
Got
it's winter. Oh, no, we're gonna meet right here, East Grand Rapids High School, bundled up, put little spikes on your shoes, run slower. Yeah, this is what we do. So I'm literally running in the street in snow, and it was a mentality because physically, who wants to run in
Right.
Michigan in single digit numbers or anything below 60 degrees?
Right. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I said I try to dibble and dabble, and I still do it from time to time. But the weather is the the discouraging factor for many times. And I'm not, I like the treadmill, but it's not the same as outside. So, but anywho,
I'm not a person, a treadmill person at all. Like when we would go to the gym and our trainer would have us in Michigan, have us run on the treadmill,
yeah,
I thought it was death. I said, why are
yeah.
we doing this? I do not like the treadmill. Now I can do a spin class, I can do an aerobics class, all of that indoor, but that treadmill, I call it the dreadmill. No.
You know what it is you're definitely you're probably definitely more wired socially. So you probably you like to be in groups and around people. I could go either way. So I can do the treadmill, but I don't like it for a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a extended period of time, it's just too much.
I bow to those who use it to train for their marathons and half marathons, right?
Yeah,
Because if you're in those climates and it does not afford you the opportunity to run outside, or you don't want to run outside, or whatever it is, then if you're training and serious about what you're trying to still accomplish, then you do what you got to do.
yeah.
But that's not my testimony.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Again, we've already established that this is not just something that just the average African American woman, African American man just decides they want to do. So let's talk about that. You mentioned community. You mentioned getting connected, and I know that you're like a part of some type of run group now, right? Or a community of some sort. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is like Black Girl Run or something of that nature? Is that something that you're involved in?
Yes, that's one of the national organizations. I'm involved in a couple. So Black Girls
Oh,
Run, I am ambassador for them here in South Florida, but I also sit on the national board of our foundation. And I'm
oh
telling
wow.
you, Black Girls Run, when I came here to South Florida, I connected with those women, and I connected with
Yeah.
another woman who had moved recently from Chicago. And I credit
Okay.
her as the reason why I have run anything past a 5K. Because when I met, it was the Starbucks conversation. Starbucks conversations will get you. So we met and we connected. And her name is Nikki. I call her Coach Nikki. Nikki,
Okay.
I was preparing for the Serena Williams quarter marathon, which is like 6.2 out on
Okay.
South Beach. It used to be an annual race here in Miami South Beach. And my husband and I, we
Okay.
moved down in September. So December was the race. We was like, yeah, that'll be fun. Serena Williams, she'll be there. We'll see more people that look like us. Yeah. That 6.2 miles on Miami Beach, hot December boardwalk. I said again, who does this? Why?
Wait a minute. So at this point, this is the farthest you
Yes,
like competitive race. Okay.
further quarter marathon because a 10K is 6.1. So quarter marathon.
Yeah.
So I had to learn the lingo too, right? So I was like, no, we know we want to do some 5Ks, but I remember the first day I ran here in South Florida, running out of my complex and running down the street. I said, yeah, if I can just get down the street. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. Because it's different. The temperature is different, the humidity is different, it's flat, so
Right.
that's one
Right.
advantage. And so I call my testimony of running marathon, minute to marathon, because I can vividly
Okay.
remember in Michigan or even here, like rebuilding my stamina, not even being able to run a minute, much less now to
Mhm.
finish 4 marathons, several halves, 5Ks, 10Ks, and so forth. So back to the group. So Black Girls Run, amazing support community that I ingrained in here in the South Florida and in the world and in the nation. And then I'm also part of Moms Run This Town, which is another national group, and I'm also a run coach with RRCA. So that is, I'm a certified run coach. And that again is another community. So different run groups have the RRCA certification. So my point is community. Fit Fans and Training is another one. My husband and I coached with them for a little while. Community, even though I run most often by myself because that's just my schedule, or sometimes I don't want to be committed to showing up at a certain time with somebody. And it's not has nothing to do with accountability because I'm accountable to myself. It's just sometimes that's just how I want my schedule. And so I can run by myself. It's not a problem, to run by myself at all. And but those are different groups that I've plugged myself in. Those are different groups that I've committed myself to.
Like you said, the whole group, it does get you involved. I know I had an opportunity back in our hometown of Flint. They had the Crim Race, and they had some type of little group thing like that. And I got caught up, kind of like you too. I did my little 10 mile. Thought I was like, woo! Next thing I know, I'm planning for a marathon, and I
Yeah.
tried to run. I did get one. I did get one under my belt in Chicago.
Woo, I did
And
Chicago too, but that's
again, I
the
got
best.
caught up.
Chicago's like the
Yeah,
best.
that was pretty hype. It was so hype. Let me really give you the story. The story was I won an entry into the Chicago Marathon. So I
Okay.
wasn't really trying to run the marathon, but I got a free entry. So and I got a free room to go to Chicago. So I went and I started. I said my thought was I could run halfway or so. It's Chicago. I can get in a cab if I get tired. Somewhere, back in the day when they had cabs and taxi cabs, I figured I could grab one of them if I go too far. That was a plan.
Right.
Obviously it was entry level. I mean, it was a free entry. I got out there and they got to hyping me up with all the different corners that you go to. Next thing I know, I looked up, it was 17 miles, 18.
Yes. Yes.
Right around that, but hold on, right around that 19, I think I hit the wall. And
Woo.
yeah, but I made it through.
Yes.
So, but that was my first and will probably be my last.
And
But
your first was
you
a
ran
major,
four.
a world major. That's Chicago's considered a
Yeah,
world major.
wow.
So my goodness, that is awesome. It won't be your last. You'll catch the bug again.
Well, that was, yeah. I got caught up in the hype, I say.
Oh, but where you are, Atlanta is
But,
such a running community. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Black Men Run, Black Girls Run, the race. I mean, so much of a support system in the Atlanta area for running. And when you can run those hills in Atlanta, you're doing
yeah.
something.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. I think I may be a little off, but I do recall that your running has led you to some great places and put you before some great people. So I
Yes,
think
that's how
you
2020
even ran
started.
into Oprah, right?
Yes, 2020 started with meeting Oprah, January 3rd,
Wow,
2020.
that was the start of 2020?
That's how it started. That's not how it ended,
Wow.
but that's how it
Wow.
started.
You must tell. Everybody wants to meet Oprah. You must tell. How did
Woo!
this happen?
Let me tell you, that was definitely God ordained because it was not expected. We did not know it was going to happen, right?
Oh,
Um,
so it wasn't planned or
Not
anything.
meeting her. We were invited as a part of her WW Weight Watchers kickoff tour. that she was
Oh,
doing with
okay.
Mythbusters last year. They were kicking off in Fort Lauderdale here at the BB&T Center. So we were invited as Black Girls Run and some other diverse groups to be a part of um, showing how people move, get going. It's the new year. We were told that we would be on the beach. We had to have all of these disclaimers. We have confidentiality agreements. It was a whole process. But we just figured,
Wow.
it still is Oprah's brand. It's WW. So, of
Right.
course, these measures will be taken into consideration. So when we got there that morning, early morning down in Fort Lauderdale Beach, we were prepping, and then we met Jenna Bush. They told us we were going to our first surprise, and what we thought was the only surprise was going to be we were going to be on Today's Show with Jenna Bush.
Okay.
And so
Which is huge.
we were like, yes, yes, yes. They were like, start texting your friends, let them know. We was like, great, great, great. So it got kind of interesting because we started seeing like cars swirling and police swirling, and we were like, "What is?" Or was like, "Well, Jenna Bush is here," or it could be any guest because we know that Oprah, part of that tour was going to have guests, special guests at each spot. So we was like, maybe it's the special guest that's coming. Well, we're sitting out there, we're waiting, and then it's okay. We're preparing to go live on today's show because live TV, you just got to be nimble. So they said we're preparing. Jenna Bush is going to come down and she's going to get ready. We're going to hype it up and we're going to get ready to be on today's show. Well, we was like, okay, they were countdown. Let's go, let's go. Jenna Bush comes out and around the corner comes Oprah. We lost it.
Ah.
There's pictures of me screaming, jumping, just
That's
literally
awesome.
lost. And because I was one of the leads of the group that they had picked, one like lead from each group, I was the one representing Black Girls Run. I had the pure honor to be up front. I had the pure honor to walk arm in arm with her. I mean, she literally grabbed my arm. We walked,
Wow.
and it was just the most amazing experience. I was right on stage when she was on the Today Show, so I
Wow.
have those footage that I'll be able to show my children, because it was amazing, and that's how 2020 started. Was living our best
Oh,
lives, meeting Oprah.
wow. I mean, your gift actually made room for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I decided to take on this health and wellness journey, personal journey.
Yeah.
As you said, it
Right.
brought me into places that I wouldn't even know. I mean, the next month was Super Bowl. And because of our affinity for health and wellness and to get involved in the health and wellness community of our um, region, we reached out some time ago to be a part of the Super Bowl committee and was a part of that. So day of Super Bowl, I'm literally in the stadium behind the scenes, seeing the teams. I'm when was it Mahomes? Is that the right? Am I saying it right? The Chiefs
Yes.
quarterback being able to hug and congratulate his mom before she ran out to the field I mean, so it has the journey of self discovery around health and wellness really has put my husband and I in some really cool spaces and places that we're just excited to see what's next.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Let's kind of spin a little bit, and let's kind of stay there though. Because I think that's important. This is the beginning of the year, and a lot of us, some of us church folks, we're doing our little fast right now and everything, and so we start thinking about our health a little bit. What would you suggest right now? For exercise and health right now. What would you suggest somebody who wants to get into it, wants to get involved in maybe the health journey, but is kind of on the fence? How do you prep them? I mean, what's your story? How did we do that?
Well, one of the things I know we often talk about New Year's resolutions, but I don't believe in those, as many
Mhm.
say. I believe in everyday solutions. And so every day, I believe that we need
Okay.
to show up to who we are every single day and be okay
Mhm.
with whatever that journey is. So when it comes to the health and wealth journey, it starts with your mentality and it starts with your heart.
Mhm.
What is your why? My why is because I enjoy it. It's a joyful place for me. Yes, it's hard work.
Mhm.
It's hard work. It's hard work not eating my chocolate chip cookies and french fries every day because I enjoy all of that. It's hard work getting
Right.
up. I ran 3.25 miles this morning, just to kind of loosen up my legs to prepare for my long run on Saturday.
Wow.
Tomorrow I'll Kangoo jump, because I'm a Kangoo jumps instructor. So It's work, but it's a joyful place. So my why is because I want to feel good and show up the best version of me for myself, my husband, my children, my community, my parents, and I want my life story to be a reflection to someone else that you know what, you can do it. And another thing I would tell people is the why to show up is because someone needs your story. I don't care how ugly, how messy, how long, how whatever, beautiful, glorious, whatever it is, somebody needs your story. Somebody needs you to start so that they have the courage and the energy and the strength to start. And so for me, I would tell that person, start. Start where you are. Oftentimes, social media sensationalizes the things that we want to do so far that it literally sabotages us out of the things that we should be doing. And so for when it comes to health and wellness, is a very personal journey. It's a very personal journey. So you have to find your rhythm and what is right for you. If that means walking, if that means lifting, but I would say do something. Can Are you not worth 30 minutes a day of 24 hours a day? Are you not
That's
worth
good.
30 minutes to be able to live a healthier mentally, physically, emotionally? To me, the physical part is the byproduct, Sharad. It's what it does for me mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Like, it's what I know. Um, it really does release endorphins, the happy pill, but it's more than that. It's the fact that you
Yeah.
can accomplish something for you. Me accomplishing my marathons and my half marathons and my certifications and all that God has allowed me to do within the health and wellness has been such a confidence for me and a mental discipline for me that I know then I can accomplish and do in other areas of my life. So I would tell people, find your why and just start. And I know I don't say just as if it's very careless, but it is.
Right, right.
Just start.
You know, that's interesting you say that. I notice you and a lot of other people, that are driven and that are accomplishing things, they usually start their exercise journey in the morning. Is there something to your morning routine? Is there something the reason why you do it in the morning? And I notice you also are talking about, prayer and all that kind of stuff. Talk about that morning time. Why is it important possibly to do your workouts or whatever it is that you're doing in the morning?
The morning, the stillness of the morning to me sets the stabilization for the day. So I'm up early. I'm an early riser now. Ask my husband, 8, 9 o'clock. I can't make it through movie. I can't. It doesn't even. It's not worth us to invite people over to go watch a movie or something because I'm going to be asleep because I'm an
Sure,
early riser.
sure,
And that's not only that
sure.
the exercise part of me, but the intercessory part of me. I'm a early riser and I'm an intercessor. So I get up early, I pray, and I just like the stillness of the morning. And that's when I have the most energy. So for me to get up, to pray, to do my devotion, to read my word, and then set my day in motion with my body, that really sets a tone and a climate for the rest of my day. Now, again, by the end of the evening, I am tired. So some people are night owls. If that's your mojo, if getting up in the morning and earlier to do the workout or to put that time in for you is not you, then schedule it for yourself. Make an appointment for yourself at night. To me, it just feels better in the morning because then the rest of the day can flow and we all have those interruptions, disruptions, disruptors, and all things that happen throughout the day. And then what's the first thing to go? Oh, well, I don't have time to go work out. I don't have time for a gym. I don't have time to do my on demand program. I don't have time for that. I can be doing X, Y, Z. And it's a mind, it's off my mind. My body is saying thank you. And then it sets the tone for my eating too. Like I know that I have made a good choice with my workout that morning. So let me make better choices with some of the things I decided to put in my body.
That's good. And again, I noticed that. I know a lot of driven people do it in the morning, and I don't know if there's a direct correlation to getting that workout in the morning, but it just contributes to so much more. I don't know if it's that you've tackled something of a challenge early on, and it just makes every other challenge that comes along the way much easier. But I do notice that is a trend. that I see.
I think
So,
it is.
you
I
know,
think it's
Cor-
something about, I mean,
yeah.
the life coaches or always talk about the morning and what the morning does. And to
Mhm.
me, it's really that sphere of time that gives you the space to be able to be and create um, for yourself. You know, I believe our creator works phenomenally in the morning to be able to set the
Yeah.
tone and the whispers. And it's that stillness before the activity of the day happens that gives you time for you. And so I do believe there is a direct correlation to the psychological and the physiological piece of working out earlier in the day to be able to set the atmosphere and the environment for the rest of your day.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit more. Like I said earlier, I know we go back way back, and from what I remember, back in our college days, we were part of the same ministry church. Under the late Bishop William C. Aveney, and I seen God just kind of put His hand on you there. And I know, like you said, you've been doing this for quite a while, and you've always been there. But I think this is an important time right now where everybody's facing so much right now. A lot's going on. A lot of people are challenged with the challenges that we have here coming out of 2020. We're coming into 2021. Obviously, there's some ups, there's some downs, all of that. What are you saying to people these days? How are you motivating people? How are you encouraging people? I'm pulling on. I'm assuming there's a minister inside there, but I'm pulling on you. What are you saying to us today, or to the people today, to get through what they get through, per se?
I'm telling people that it's a time like never before to draw into your relationship with God. I don't understand. And,
Yeah.
and I'm saying this from a spiritual, but also a natural perspective. I don't have the
Okay.
comprehension to be able to understand living in our times and our days that we do without a
Mm-hmm.
personal relationship, not to know of, but
Yeah.
to know him. And to know him in the power of his resurrection, meaning the resurrection and the restoring power for yourself. There is no way that some
Yeah.
of the things that happened in 2020 in our lives and the lives as a world, that if we did not have the hope of the world, or the hope of the word,
Yeah.
the hope of him being a savior, the hope that he is already finished. And when he went to the cross and he said in a Calvary, it is finished. If we didn't have that hope, there would be the mental illness in us personally would be in a very different place.
Yeah.
The heartache of us will be in a very different place. So I am admonishing and praying and interceding for people to really dive into their relationship with God. We saw that in 2020 that the churches, the buildings closed, right? But the relationship didn't, right? And so when the building closed, how did you draw closer into your relationship? How did you personalize that plan for what God has for your life? Because it gave us the opportunity to shut out the ear gates and eye gate noise more so and be able to really horn in. So I am encouraging people to draw in, to take that personal time to pray, to read his word, and to know what God says for your life. What is he ordained for
Yeah.
your life? You're not by accident. There's 7 billion people in the world and you are unique. You are unique to who you are. So there's a purpose, there's a plan, and there's a prosperity connected to who you are. And when you flow in that, then the rest of what God wants for you and the world can flow out of that. There's nations in us, there's things in us that we must do. But when we are so caught up in the sensationalism of anything else that is not Him, it becomes an idol, right? So I just truly, I'm telling people, draw in, draw your hearts in, draw your minds in. It is a place, it is a safe place, it is a righteous place. And from there, you begin to get the peace that surpasses all understanding. You will have the trust. You will have the encouragement to be able to say, you know what, it is not good, but it's working for my good. And so when we put all those things in perspective, then that's when we can really, really, we talk about personal development. Oftentimes we're looking for the if you just open up that word, that personal development is there. And then of course you can have the other things that we add on to it. But Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things shall be added. So we're looking for the addition, but we're operating in subtraction. So I'm really saying, God, what do you want of us right now? And that is my
Right.
counsel. As you see, I love the word, I love God, I love his people. And I just truly believe that that is the place that he's like, I need you closer. I need you closer. I want you closer. I
Oh,
desire you closer. So therefore, I want what you want. I want you to want what I want for you, and that's a relationship.
wow. Wow, thank you, Corey. That's a word. I mean, obviously, that confirms in my spirit. 2020 obviously took us all by shock. It took us all by storm, but it was a time for God to bring us closer, to intensify our relationship with Him, to understand that He is, our source. He
Yes.
is our hope. He is our, what I mean, He is all of that. When we
Right.
were able to draw in more, I think it has been that same factor
Oh yeah.
that has allowed us to get through all of that we're going through. We're able to get through that knowing that there's a hope and knowing that God has us close. And I know there's so much going around. This is a time, like you said, it behooves me for you not to be connected or tapped in,
Right.
right? Or to have some type of relationship in this season, in
Yes.
this time,
Yes.
because you're vulnerable to everything that is going on without his spirit inside of you. And so I'm just looking forward to what God is going to do for the church. Now the church is not necessarily in the four walls right now, like
Right.
you said, but now we're spilling out
Yes.
and we're impacting so many people. So real quick, let's talk about that real quick too. I know you don't have a problem sharing your faith and talking to others. What would you say to individuals that are out here doing their entrepreneurship, doing their business? How do they bleed that in the marketplace is what we call, I like to call it a marketplace influencer. How do they influence in the areas around them their gift and allow God to shine in their lives?
Really to be asked God, who am I called to? Like you created this business in me. You created this passion for this business into me. So who am I called to for my business? And one of the things that I speak daily over my business is that God allow us to impact and influence lives for your glory and for your edification. And who is
That's it.
called, so
That's
that
it.
way the whole competition thing is gone out the window. The whole insecurity about launching another health and wellness business or another
Come on.
podcast or another anything is gone, because if God has to pull them from
No.
Timbuktu, Africa, to be able to be the one that you influence, then He will do that. And so, who are we
Mm,
called to? What is your why behind your business as relates to glorifying and magnifying God? And people will see your light will shine, right? It says if your
yeah.
light will so shine before men, you will glorify Him in your business practice, being able to be legit, being above par,
Mhm.
making sure you handle your business and handle your people right. So if God is just as to me, it's
Yeah.
almost like a pastoral assignment, right? So when you talk about
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
it's a pastoral assignment. Those are the people that God has called to be able to have you feed, but not only you feed, but feed you. I mean, because they're paying for whatever services that you are providing, and they could have gone to anywhere, but they were obviously attracted and drawn to you for a reason. And even if it's just for a moment, or a season or a lifetime, that those particular clients or customers will be with you. God, what am I to get out of this relationship? And I know people say, "Oh, that's so spiritual," but see, we're spiritual beings, right? Having a
Yeah.
natural experience. I believe that, and so if I'm made in His image, then my spirit is what leads me. My spirit is what guides me. So I'm not over spiritualizing. What is that? My business belongs to Him. My income, my vocation, it all belongs to Him. And so as an entrepreneur, when I prioritize that He is the one that I am doing this for, and I begin to tap into why am I doing it, how am I doing it, who am I doing it for, I believe that's then when we begin to really see the blessings and the prosperity and the overflow for our businesses, and we become less focused on the revenue and more of the results for Him.
That's awesome. Well, Corey, I am so glad we had a chance to talk. I don't know about for you, but this has been a great conversation.
I've loved it.
You really honed in what this behind the grind program is about. You pretty much summed it up. It's more than just seeing the outside of it, the output of it. There is something put into it, and a lot of it is driven by your faith and your why and all that good stuff. And you shared that today. And but before we go out of here, I just want to just give one quick question. Inquiring minds want to know. You're now in South Florida. So I have a quick, fun question for you. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Is it gonna be your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Um, yes, it's gonna be Tampa Bay. Tom Brady,
Oh,
right? Is it Tom Brady?
yeah.
I just believe in restoration because it was Super Bowl. You know, we had it 2020 here in Miami, 2021 in Tampa, but they're not getting because of Corona and the pandemic, they're not able to really. So I just think that's going to be like that bittersweet opportunity for us to be able to bring it on home and play. They're going to play there. They're playing at Tampa, so I just think that yeah, it's in Tampa this year. 2021 is in Tampa. 2022 is in Los Angeles, and 2023 is in New Orleans. So
Look at you.
those out there, they can have it next year, and then Saints, y'all can have it in 2023. But for this year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, let's go. Now my daughter may
All right.
cheer me, but that's who it is.
Hey, while we're recording this episode, we don't know if they'll be in the Super Bowl or not, but they're still in the playoffs as we're having this conversation.
Exactly.
So, we're not gonna hold her to it if they don't win. But I just figured I'd throw it out there since she's in Florida. I thought maybe she would jump a hole to the Florida team. I know she probably has abandoned the Detroit Lions if she ever was a Detroit Lions fan.
No, we're Miami fans. Dolphins, go
Oh,
Dolphins.
Miami. That's right.
But
That's
we're
right. You guys got all kinds
Cowboy
of teams
fans.
in Florida.
Cowboy.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. But she did say Tampa Bay will win, so that might be a tip for somebody.
I spent ties off of
Well,
it.
there you go. Well, we really did enjoy this conversation, Corey. Again, it's been a wonderful conversation. Again, like I said, we go way back. We
Yes.
will definitely have to talk more. Just again, I'm fascinated about all that you're doing, what you're doing, you and your family, and how you guys are reflecting the glory of God in the areas around you, in your running, in your business, all areas we see it. And I did want to just bring you on just to have that conversation. What leads to all of that? And so it was definitely a conversation that exceeded my expectations by far. I didn't think it could, but it was definitely a great conversation. I'm so glad that we talked today. So, I don't know if you're out there like that, but if anybody did want to just kind of reach out to you or follow you or whatever, I don't know. I don't know if you're out like that, but if so, how can people go about connecting with you or to find out more about your journey or the things that you have to offer?
For sure. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Corey L. Brown. Facebook is Corey Brown, but Corey L. Brown on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also follow our business at Rebound Health and Wellness. That's on Facebook and Instagram. And then Wifepreneur Inc. is also on Facebook and Instagram. We'd love, love, love to connect with you and be able to take the journeys of life as a wife, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a believer. Take those journeys together because I truly do believe in community, and I believe community is where we connect, and community and connecting is how we can really go forth and see the catalyst that God desires for our lives.
Awesome. All right. Well, you heard this here. If you enjoyed anything about this conversation, you must share. You must tell somebody about this conversation. Also, subscribe so that you can hear more conversations like this, more talks that I will have with individuals similar to Corey Brown here today. So please subscribe, leave us a comment on your favorite platform, whichever platform you love to listen to us on. Let everybody know about us here on Behind the Grind. Well, that's it for us today. Until the next time, this is Behind the Grind.
Awesome.